You're in charge of looking down at my microphone to make sure the green light is on, and I'm in charge of yours, okay?
That's a lot of pressure, baby.
Just look down randomly and make sure the light is green.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm a little spicy this morning.
Hell yeah.
We believe marriage teaches us more about ourselves than we would ever find by only viewing ourselves from a distorted lens.
Don't believe us? Stay tuned if you dare to form a different opinion about yourselves from each episode.
This is Unfrequent Talks
with Jenny
and Aaliyah.
This weekend was very eventful.
It was. This weekend was fun.
Yeah.
But I think we had a little tiff this weekend.
We did.
A little fun little tiff. Oh boy. Let's talk about that.
So I'm just thinking because you said oh boy. You say oh boy a lot. It's
oh
funny.
Boy. I do, don't I?
Yeah, I was like, she said that every time.
Every episode.
I think you say it every episode.
I probably do.
Okay.
This tiff was I think it was one of our better tiffs.
Yeah.
Where we actually kind of, I don't know, went our separate ways for a second and then came back together.
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question though.
What?
Because I don't think the argument is the issue. Because arguments happen in relationships and in marriage. I have a question about how you always walk away from me. Like lately, you've been like storming the castle every time you're upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you do that?
Because every time that happens, you like shut down.
I'm shutting down before you walk away?
Yeah. You like completely, I feel like I want you to like give me your undivided attention when I'm talking. Like you are right now. And those moments while I'm talking, like you look away or you're doing something else. And I don't feel like you're paying attention to me. And that bothers me a whole lot.
Okay.
Because when you're talking, when you're sharing your experience, your feelings, your opinions, like I'm engaged, I'm looking at you. And I'm making sure like my body language is also looking at you. And in those moments lately, you have not been doing that for me. And so it triggers me. It triggers that part of me that like feels what's the word? Looked over. Yeah. And so I'm just like over it. Because I don't know if you've noticed, like over the weekend, I told you like, can you please look at me? Like at least 6 times before I stormed away.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
But like I asked over and over again, like, can you please look at me? And you would like look at me and then you would look away. That's not okay. That wasn't okay for me. So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna leave. Storm the castle, like you said.
That's fair to say.
Yeah.
So I see where you're coming from. Like I see like when I am talking, you do give me the same attention you're giving me now. Like you're looking at me, you're not looking away. And when it was my turn to listen, I did look away a lot. And that isn't okay.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
But that is the reason why I storm away. Because I try my hardest. And that's all we can do is just try, you know?
I think the other thing though is I want to speak on like why I'm looking away. Because we are saying the same thing, but in a different way. Like you are getting upset about how I'm not looking at you and you feel like you're being overlooked. So that gives you ammo to like, you don't want to walk away. And I'm looking away from you because I feel like I'm being overlooked by what I'm saying to you. Because like the
Mm-hmm.
conversation we had, I wasn't necessarily wanting you to take the advice I was soliciting to you. It was more so I just wanted you to give me that space that that was only given for me to be seen by you. And I feel like I didn't get that. Like in your eyes, you feel like you gave that to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel like I got enough.
Okay.
And so when I felt like I didn't get enough, that kind of touched on one of my parts, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna check out a little bit because I don't feel like I'm being seen how I want to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say we both saying the same thing, because you were saying that, I was saying that, but I just wasn't saying it out loud. I was doing it through body language and just kind of avoiding the conversation at that point.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. It does. So, what were
Yeah.
you looking for from me? Because I know you said it when we talked about it. You said that you just wanted me to be like, okay, thanks for the advice. I'll take it into consideration and leave it at that.
Yes and no. Because the way you say it is kind of like so short and dry. But that's not what I'm wanting though, babe. Like I want some type of charisma with it too. Like the way when it's said, like I don't want it to just be short and dry. But
Well, not short and dry, but what I mean is like those words.
yeah, so those words are something I wanted to hear,
Mm.
but I also wanted that space of acknowledgement
Mm.
alone. Like I didn't want you to start talking about more in detail as to why you didn't want to choose to use that advice.
Mm.
And that's what happened. It kind of just segued into it. And I didn't like that. Like I wanted my own lane for a bit, just for a couple seconds. Cause when you spoke about the situation, I made sure I said something that was indifferent at the end of you finishing on that subject.
Mm.
Because I even left to go into the store.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, you know what? Let me come back and I'll tell you. And then when I came back and I told you, I feel like I let you speak your piece on like why you didn't want to do it. And then, no, not why you didn't want to do it, but why, what you were telling me before I told you the advice. Like I let you speak on everything you wanted to say about the situation. And then when I came back, that's when I wanted to give a suggestion to you.
Mm-hmm. You did that. So what was your reasoning for it? Because you just said that you wanted to give me an advice that was indifferent to what I was saying and wanted to do. Why? Why?
Because you know that part of me that like thinks ahead, like
Mm-hmm.
many other scenes. And so I could see that perpetuating again. Like I in my eyes, like I could see you having that conversation again. You're like, yep, that happened again. Or yep, this is what happened because this happened before.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not something that you can just avoid like the plague. Like it naturally happens because you are dealing with people that you are close with, and it's just sometimes a knee jerk reaction to kind of open up that door again in hopes, not even in hopes, it's just you unconsciously open that door. And then when they do that thing, you consciously wake back up. You're like, this is why I don't tell you anything. This is
Mm-hmm.
why I always just tell you everything's fine. I just wanted to try to initiate the opportunity to remove that out of the situation. Because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
if it was something you were open to doing, it could have the possibility to remove itself from the equation by it not being something that's constantly always asked of you.
I get that, yeah. I get that for sure. Yes, at that time I didn't want to hear it because, well, I didn't mind hearing it. I didn't mind hearing your suggestion, your advice. I did want to hear your advice and your suggestion because I always do. I feel like there's a like it's okay to have a difference of opinion. Like we talk about it all the time. Like it's okay to have a difference of opinion, And it's okay to voice those different opinions. Different opinions. In my eyes, it's okay because we're two different people.
Yeah.
So we're going to have two different trains of thoughts.
Right.
So when you said that you just wanted me to just give you your praises and leave it at that because then you went on to say that you just wanted there to be like some time had gone by before I gave my opinion on the situation.
Right.
And like I don't know. I don't know. Cuz like I
So
get it, but like at the same time you've said that before, but you don't tell me. You don't give me a breakdown of how long is long enough for you because I paused when we had that conversation and then I went in and you were like, no, that's not long enough. And in my mind, like, okay, well, what's long enough? Like the rest of the day? By the rest of the day, I'm going to forget about it and then we're just not going to talk about it. And then I don't get to share my opinions and my thoughts on things.
it's funny because you said differences of opinions are welcome. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no issue. But when that happened last night, or not last night, when it happened the other day, it didn't seem that way. Like it seemed like my opinion, because it was going against the grain of your opinion, was not warranted.
Well, I'm sorry that I made you feel like it wasn't. Um, Even though that I said that I appreciate it and I understood it, um, I can see how my tone of voice maybe said the opposite. So I do want to apologize for that because I do realize that my tone gets a little intense
Yeah,
sometimes,
it does.
and I'm working on that.
Mm-hmm.
I am working on that 100% because I did. I really did see your perspective on it. I really did see how that makes sense
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen you do it and it works and I've seen it work. So it's not like you're just pulling it out of thin air
Yeah.
and hoping it'll stick. Like I've witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I understood. I really did. And I have seen that it's worked. You know, that suggestion that you mentioned to me. In my mind I was like, okay, but the people that I am quote unquote confronting
Mm-hmm.
would be confronting about this situation. Like I've tried that before, like many a times. And that was where my head was at.
Yeah, I saw that.
And my head was at like the frustration of having had tried it already
Yeah.
and the outcome being what the outcome was.
Yeah.
And I think that's where my tone of voice came from the disappointment
Mm-hmm.
of when I had tried it before. And I realize now that it came out like I didn't care about what you were saying, or
It
I didn't
was.
see it working,
Yeah.
and that's my fault. I'm getting
I know.
emotional. Ugh.
I really, I don't ever really go against your opinion on something unless it's me shifting it to gear to like protect you. If you notice that, because I'm not in the business of stirring the pot where it don't need to be stirred.
Yeah.
So like when I said what I said, it wasn't intended to try to like tell you that you don't know how to handle the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It was just merely advice from me seeing it from a different perspective and hopes that you would at least consider it. And that's what I wanted. I just wanted some consideration. But it didn't seem like I was getting that from you. It was more like, tried that, not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then when it came to that, that's what kind of felt me. That's where I felt like I'm being overlooked by you again. And when we came home, we're in a whole different scene. You're still unpacking why you don't want to do it. So you kind of like just really hit it home as to why you didn't want to do something. So I'm just kind of like, why did I even say anything? Because my God, I'm making this worse for myself. I already heard it the first time, and then that's when I said the unnecessary comment is like, I don't want you to. You don't. I don't know what I said. You remember what I said?
That you don't care for the details.
Yeah, I don't care for the details because at that point, like I was just there, and I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, I get it.
You get it?
I get it. I get
And
it.
it's and this is another thing like that I wanted to hit home
Mm-hmm.
because I love the friends that we have in our life. Like I really do
Yeah.
so much. But the general definition of friends is like they're there to back you and like
Mm-hmm.
how you feel. And they are supposed to do that because that's what you need. You just need the support. And so when we did talk to our friends about it and they kind of like stamped how you felt, I didn't feel cornered because I know they were just supporting you, but I did
Mm-hmm.
feel like, damn, like, did I do the wrong thing for my
Mm-hmm.
wife? But I kind of went away from that because I know me and I know that I have good intentions on what I do for you. So I didn't let like their opinion like bleed into how I felt about
Yeah.
the situation. Like I still stood 10 toes on like how I felt, which is like, yeah, I think you should consider this because
Yeah.
I'm not trying to tell you this is what you need to do. I'm only insisting that you consider it
Yeah.
down the road.
Yeah. And I understand that now. I didn't understand that then. I thought you really did just want me to like do it the next time
And
that it
I
happens.
could 100% see how that came off because, as you know, I am PMSing, so I am like, I'm
You
on
are
one.
on one. You're always on
So
one. Oh my God, during this time of month for
I
you.
know.
Goodness gracious. But hearing you say that like you went into that um protection mode for me.
I
Like it
always
makes
protect you
sense. Oh my God.
because it bothers me. Like it does. It bothers me that that happens to you, and I'm just like, no, like enough's enough. Like either you gonna fucking listen, or just stop fucking calling you.
That's so true.
Either or. There's no in between.
Yeah. It's so it's so hard to like pick that up from you when when I was still living in that like heart,
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to realize that what you're suggesting is only to protect me.
Yeah.
So I don't have that hurt feeling in the future. But in the moment it is really hard.
Right.
It is
Exactly.
it's really hard
Isn't it
to realize that.
isn't it crazy how we let like past trauma really stare our own perspective in like the current state we're in?
Yeah, it really is. It is.
Like I we were talking with someone and you know and this is like it's crazy. I think this is like a really wild thing though. Like this might have been like maybe the third person that I've ran into and met and they've been with someone for like multiple years
hmm
and they don't want to cross that line of being married.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just slippery slope that they've seen in their past trauma in their childhood and they're like, yeah, that shit did not work out. So
Yeah.
I am not doing that dance with this person that I'm with, but I
Yeah.
love them to death.
Right. Trauma is a very real thing. It'll
So
keep you from doing things and
yeah.
it'll keep you continuing to do things.
Yeah.
And it's quite a complex thing.
It's
It really is.
when I hear it, I want to kick into gear too for them and just ask that question. That raging question is like, as our therapist would say, if everything was like in a perfect world, like then what would you do?
mhm.
And you know you would do it, And
Right.
the idea is that that's on the table, you just don't see it.
Right. So our little parts that are protecting us and micromanaging our trauma
Yes.
in our minds
Exactly.
are like putting up that wall, that are just constantly saying no. No, because we saw this in this situation and that didn't necessarily go correct. And then we saw it in another situation and that didn't go correct either. And then we saw it a third time and that's when we were like, okay, we need to pump the brakes and let's not do this ever.
Yeah.
And that's what we have been working through
Yeah.
with our therapist.
Because the reality is they're only acting out because they need attention
Yeah.
that you have missed out on giving them.
Yeah, they need attention because they're hurt or they're scared or they're angry
Exactly.
at the role that they had no choice in taking over
Mm-hmm.
for ourselves. Like they had no choice in taking over that burden of trauma or that burden of hiding that trauma
Yeah.
or that burden of being angry or sad with that trauma.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And these parts, they don't necessarily know how old you are
Mm-hmm.
currently, so they're still protecting you as if, for my parts, they were protecting me as if I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
So, but when they got to know, and that's the beauty in it, because once you get to know them and they get to know the age you are now,
Mm-hmm.
and they see what is actually going on in your life, because they don't see what's going on in your life right now. They see the
Yeah.
trauma you've been through. They think that's what is going on in your life because you are perpetuating that for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see that they see you and you see it, it like really allows you to live a life that you never thought you could live.
Yes, you're so right. Because one thing that I do love about the way that our therapist works through trauma
Yeah.
or through practices therapy, the way he practices therapy, I I love the way that he explains the fact that we have parts. Because before I go into that, because you were seeing him first by yourself,
Yeah.
and then we joined him together
Mm-hmm.
and to talk about our marriage and our past and our past together and then our past individually. But he suggested to you to watch, what was that movie? Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Inside Out. Um and I think that watching that movie before going to see him together, for me, it was really helpful in connecting with my parts,
Mm-hmm.
my internal parts, and all of their ins and outs that they do, and chatting with them. I know it sounds a little crazy, but
It's not crazy.
it's not crazy at all because it's a part of you. They're all parts of you. And that is one thing that I don't think I've seen in therapy,
Mm-hmm.
because I went to therapy when we were in Kansas by myself, and then we went to tried that counseling
Oh
when we
yeah.
got to
That
Chesapeake
was
with that guy. That was a
that and that
that was
brings
a
up
rough
a
time.
really, really good point. Because that was a lesson learned. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I would I am so happy that you were such a team player in our journey to therapy, because
Yeah.
you allow me to pick the therapist to do therapy with. And
Yeah.
I think that is so crucial, especially for me being the person who was against therapy.
Yeah.
I think it's very important for the person who is in favor of therapy to allow the person who opposed therapy to pick the therapist,
Yeah.
because it allows them to have some type of control. And that's what I wanted. I wanted some type of control in how we were going to play out our therapy and go through it, because it's something that's already intimidating because you don't
Mm-hmm.
really see anybody in your family do it, and
Yeah.
it's always frowned upon, so you just think like what everybody else thinks, like, yeah, nah, it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the best thing that happened to our marriage, and honestly I think it's the one thing that really forced me to wake up and see my marriage in the state it was in, because it wasn't in a good state.
Yeah, no, that's very accurate. And the whole you choosing to control things, and that's one of your parts.
Absolutely.
Because what we talked about in our session, it felt like you had no control and some past trauma, so now it just seeks that control
Yeah.
in your day-to-day life, and that was one aspect where it was like, I got to get control on it. And yeah, absolutely. I as much as I was against it, I was like, whatever, do you figure it out?
You were against?
Yeah, because I was like, we just need to go.
Oof.
I was like, I just want us to go because of where we were wasn't the best place. And so I was like, I just want to go. I just want to go so we can talk. Because we weren't the best at talking then.
But we did that. We did just go. Remember the guy?
Yeah, we
And
did.
that
We
was
did just go,
a
and that was a complete
fucking
disaster
nightmare.
for you. 100%, it was a complete disaster because he was very, and that's what I was gonna get at earlier. Is he was very like one-sided, and that's how I see and have seen and heard of, and even in that um, TV series, the couples therapist, couples
Yeah.
therapy, it is very like it sounds very one-sided. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I can appreciate about our therapist, that he's not.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Even to like emphasize that even more, I am the one that he saw first.
Mm-hmm.
And you can vouch for this. You don't feel like he takes my side over you. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, he's on my ass like white on rice, like Aaliyah.
He's
So
on your
let's
parts
let's let's
ass.
unpack these parts. Like what's going on? Because you on one.
You on one today. Yes. Yes. Because I'm a team player. My parts are team players until they're like, the sirens start going off.
Oh yes.
They woo.
We
They woo.
woos.
The sirens start going off, and then they just like jump into gear instantly.
Yeah.
There wasn't a like build up of me like saying no, everything's okay, and then kind of like being on edge. It was just go. And
Yeah.
so now I'm working with them
You are.
and with myself and with you
Mm-hmm.
until the fourth time that things aren't working correctly, then I storm the castle.
Yes.
So there's a buildup now of continuous dialogue with me internally. But yeah.
I love it. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. I'm proud of you
Thank you.
because you've come a long way too, honey. You really have.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you. It was a journey.
Yeah, it was a
It was a
journey.
journey.
I wouldn't pick any other partner to do the journey with, though. I'd do it again with you. I really would.
Yeah.
I would.
Oh, I would do it again with you too.
You're the only person that I'd do it with, though. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh my gosh.
But this is all in all to say everything connects to everything.
Yep. Yep.
And whether we try to avoid it, it'll always show its face.
Oh yeah. No matter
So
what.
the best thing to do is just face it head on and figure it out.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And I would 100% do it all over again with you. I wouldn't want to. Oh my God, really? Oh, yes. What is happening?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, babe.
Oh, I haven't had my coffee. That's what it is. I'm blaming it on my coffee. Goodness, now I don't even know.
Were you
Remember
gonna
what
say
I was gonna
something?
say? I was.
Okay,
Ah,
I'll say something.
okay. Never mind.
I will say I see the beauty in us going to therapy because it has allowed us to have an open dialogue. Even on our platform we have here, like having this open dialogue is something I don't think will have never happened had we not stepped foot into therapy.
That's
Like everything would only happen between these four walls in this house. And I think that's this thing that I feel empathy for others. It's like that's what's happening in their life, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not willing to seek help, or they're just too afraid to seek help. And I just think it's important that we do continue to have our open dialogues, because they really help unblend what's happening in reality than in comparison to our past.
Yeah,
And
that's a
that's what
good
I
one.
appreciate.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that too. That's a good one, babe. You said that. You put that really, really well.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got my
Okay.
self together.
Or do you remember what you were gonna say?
Yes, I was gonna say that I wouldn't want to discover myself or my parts with anybody else.
Oh, babe, that's so cute. I love you.
I love you.
Mwah.
Oh my goodness gracious. I got it out. And I only cried at the end. Oh my gosh. I just love you.
You and those waterworks, man.
I know. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my god. It's the best. You're the best.
You're the best.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
And I can't wait to go to therapy with you on Tuesday.
Like clockwork.
Like clockwork at this point. I think he looks forward to seeing us.
Absolutely.
He gets excited. He likes us.
Who doesn't like us? I'm not even trying to be cocky. They tell us.
We're just nice people. And we
Yeah.
have good energy. And we like people.
Right.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
Until next time, honey bun.
You know it.